Hello there. I'm Scotty, and you're not. And we're going back into the Pick Your Poison challenge. And I picked sci-fi last time, so we're doing Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And I don't know what to think about this movie. I really don't. I'm very confused about this movie. So this was one of the Spielberg movies I'd never seen. I'd heard about it, of course. And it was one I've always wanted to see. And I think maybe the hype was too much. Because, this one says, one of the most spectacular movies ever made. Spectacular, brilliant, close encounters of the historic place and movie entertainment. And with that hype, what can you do? How can you go wrong? And then I watched it, and I was confused. I was very confused by the ending, and I was underwhelmed. Not that I didn't like it. I liked it. Thought it was okay. I don't know. I have some problems with it, but the good outweighs the bad in a way. I watched Siskel and Ebert's review for this, and they seemed to be more straightforward with their review, like they knew what was going on. But to me, this is it's kind of confusing, even with the tone of the film. They represented that they said that, this is not like your typical alien invasion film where it's more lighthearted and the aliens aren't evil. But there's still a threat factor here. Because, let me tell you, okay, so the basic premise is that this Midwestern city, Muncie, Indiana. In Muncie, Indiana, aliens appear. Richard Dreyfuss is this guy who has an encounter with them, a close encounter, and starts to sort of freak out. I think he's right in his head. He and this other woman whose son was taken, they keep seeing these mountains in their head, and he's like sculpting mountains. People are painting mountains, and it leads them there where they ultimately have a rendezvous with these aliens. Now, let's split the negatives and the positives first. The positives. Okay, Richard Dreyfuss, I think, is a fantastic leading man in this. I think he does a great job. I've always liked him in like Jaws. I don't know if I've seen him in much other things, but I've always liked him. He's the narrator in Stand By Me, right? I always thought he was a good actor. Terry Garr, for what her performance is, she's there. I guess she's fine. And the actress who plays Jillian, I think, is alright. The acting in this is pretty good. The special effects work is fantastic. Probably the best thing in this is special effects. This movie is known special effects, especially at the end, which to me may go on for a little long. And even there's some effects, like makeup effects, I'll talk about at the end in the negative section that kind of. And I think the cinematography is pretty good. And the overall story of this small town in Indiana having contact with aliens, and somehow they're imprinting this mountain for people to go. Like, what is the mystery? It's about, like Siskel and Ebert said, it's not about fear in the unknown. It's about trying to find out about the unknown, trying to investigate and trying to understand the unknown rather than just being afraid of it. I like that. They also compared it to Star Wars, which I get it came out the same year, but there's no way that this movie was influenced by Star Wars in the same year that it came out. Like, in this year brought on the sci-fi things to Star Wars. Spielberg had to be in production in 1976 before Star Wars was even a thing. Although Spielberg knew George Lucas, so maybe he had a little bit of. I don't know if they knew each other at this point, but I'm just saying. At some point they knew each other. I don't know about yet, but I'm just saying. Yeah, fantastic special effects. The score in this. Do I even have to look? John Williams. Of course. Of course. I didn't even have to look. Of course, it's John Williams. Fantastic score in this film. I have one mixed aspect of this film, and that is the tone. Like Siskel and Ebert say in their review, they think it's more of a lighthearted thing and less about fearing the unknown, more about investigating and finding out about the unknown. But I didn't get that. I was confused because the tone is very different on each side of the film. At the beginning of the film, it's very much threatening. Aliens show up, there's things blowing around. It's very creepy. And they even abduct a 4-year-old. And at the end, it's all, oh, we're going to play Simon. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. Basically what it is how they communicate with it. And this wonderful, wonderful uplifting music and wonderful special effects. And everyone's all, oh, wow. And even when they release all the people they abducted, they're like, hey, yay. But in the back of your mind, you got to think they still abducted a bunch of people. And those people have not aged since they've been abducted. Huh? How are you still bewildered and happy about this? Doesn't make any sense to me. And I mean the negatives. And quite simply, Siskel and Ebert, I'll go back to them again, they mention that there's a point in the film that's bogged down by the U.S. government stuff. And I understand. You have to put that in there because that is very much real life. Something happens, the government's going to come in and take it over. I do think it goes on too long. Like, I feel like Richard Dreyfuss should have showed up. He should have been told, oh, there's a bunch of people here. Then the aliens show up. And not him being detained and being put in a helicopter and a bunch of talking scenes and him asking a bunch of questions. He should have been brought in. He should have explained why he was there. A few little talking scenes. And then say, oh, you're not the only one that's here. And he and Jillian are both there. And there's people. And then the aliens show up. It takes too long to get from they're going there to see the aliens. And then there's like 20 minutes. This movie is over 2 hours long. And I feel like if you trimmed down that stuff and shortened up the end special effects spectacular, because it goes on forever at the end of this. To the point that it's actually very confusing as to what actually happens. Because the aliens show up, there's a bunch of spectacle, and you see the aliens, which is another negative for me because, well, I feel like in this instance, I know the whole rule is show don't tell, but here it's very much a what is not seen would work better, especially if we don't have the right makeup effects. They show the aliens and quite obviously they're little kids in bad alien costumes, and when they're silhouetted they're fine. You can tell it's there, but then there's a really close up of one of them, and it's like, no. You did not need to show the aliens. You could have taken that out. Just had the aliens floating around. And then Richard Dreyfuss goes in the spaceship, and then there's another alien standing there. Did Richard Dreyfuss turn into an alien, or did he go in and another alien comes out? That not even explained on Wikipedia. I couldn't figure out what happened there. Was he an alien the whole time? Did he just go in? Did they turn him into an alien? And then also ask the question, what about his wife and kids? Just leaves them. I don't know. But for the most part, I did enjoy this film. I just think that there are some things they could have taken out. You kind of shortened the government stuff. Taken out us seeing the aliens. We didn't need to see the aliens. And shorten the special effects stuff. Because it goes on forever. But I'm waiting to do this review. I got something I got to watch in like 3 minutes time. So we're almost done with this review. I've got my point across. And I'm standing there going, can this end already? I love the score. I love the visuals. But it just goes on and on and on. And this movie is over 2 hours long. It's 2 hours. And 17 minutes long. You didn't need to have it be that long, Spielberg. I mean, come on. But I did like quite a few things, but there was some things I didn't like, And for me, that pushed Close Encounters of the Third Kind firmly in the middle of the road. All right? Middle of the road. So let's pick up the next one quick here. All right. So I went to do a test run and pick one out. I picked out Jim Carrey again. I'm like, I thought I took that out of there. So I took it out. For real this time. Okay. We got 90s next. So look for that. What are your thoughts on Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Comment below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.